Hey everyone, happy Thursday. It is day 4 of our 21-day challenge. So I just wanted to check in with you. Today is your rest day. If you got a late start, then you can always use rest day to catch up and get going with the rest of the group. I know some people came in on day 2 and 3, so use all the rest days to get caught up with all of us. I wanted to start a conversation because Shannon had actually brought it up, and it's just something that I try to educate everybody on when you're working with me from the start, and that is about nutrition. And there are so many things out there. You see it in the newsstands when you're standing in line in the grocery store. You even see it on the news. You see ads on TV all the time about weight loss, about diet, and about nutrition and health. And it can be very overwhelming to really know what is the right thing to do and what is the adequate things to buy, the adequate amount of calories. There's so many things, and so many of us are really influenced by society's focus on being skinny versus healthy. So when I started my journey 4.5 years ago, it was literally 100% pure vanity. I wanted to be skinny. And something that I shared the other day is that I watched my father and mother yo-yo diet. Any new diet that came along, they would try. My father was what I would say, morbidly obese, and it was a concern for my mother. And, she really didn't start to struggle with her weight till she got probably around my age, 35 and upwards in her 40s. But she was always starting new diets for them, and it really excluded me. But I never saw anything work. I never saw anything last. And I always just had it programmed in my head that dieting meant, number one, eating foods that you didn't like. Because I remember my father complaining all the time. I remember him sneaking behind my mom's back and going to Denny's or going out to lunch or going for pizza. I remember it was about deprivation. And the food that were prepared, that were healthy growing up, I'm thankful that I was forced to eat, because it's made it where I am more open to trying new foods, and I'm familiar with foods that a lot of adults that are my age or even older have never tried and are not willing to try or very apprehensive about trying. But I was cooked, raised eating vegetables cooked, like being steamed, only steamed. That was the only way. No salt added. As you can imagine, as a child or even as an adult now, I would never eat steamed broccoli, steamed cauliflower, steamed Brussels sprouts with no seasoning. I've learned now as an adult to roast them, to grill them, to add different seasonings. Like I use Flavor God seasonings, which were 100% all natural, very flavorful, and really make veggies taste super awesome. I use them on everything. So those are the things that are programmed in our head. And I never realized that exercise and eating healthy was a lifestyle. I just thought it was for somebody who was fat. Like that's what I grew up thinking about. And most people I hear from think the same thing. And most people that I talk to come to me solely about weight loss. And if it does come down to health, it is because they have had a health scare due to poor eating habits, due to carrying around extra weight that was unnecessary, which all goes back to eating habits. And so I wanted to talk to all of you and just kind of give you a little insight on what I've learned. And I've learned this along the way of being a coach for 4.5 years. I've learned this through trial and error. I've learned this from watching other people, changing my eating habits, taking note of my health, recalling what my life was like and how I ate and my lifestyle before I made the change 4.5 years ago. So I was the person that, would drink 2-3 pots of coffee in the morning. If I had breakfast, it was only going through a drive-thru because we were running late and I was grabbing some donuts or kolaches for my children and I would drink coffee all day long to just, kind of fight off hunger, to keep me going because I was just dragging. At lunch, I would normally go and get something to eat. I would primarily get chicken strips, French fries, hamburger, fast food, and then I thought I was gonna die because I was so tired. I remember wanting to climb under my desk and fall asleep. I in fact remember probably in about 2007 or 8 going to the doctor. and saying something's wrong with me. You know, do I have diabetes? Am I hypoglycemic? I told them all of these symptoms. I'm like, I just want to fall asleep. And never once was I asked any questions other than, let's send you for some lab work. So I had my thyroid checked, I had my blood sugars checked, and all sorts of things. And then they called and said, you're fine. So again, I was just left living life like that, and nothing ever changed. It wasn't until I started making the changes on my own, once I started P90X, once I started drinking Shakeology, once I started working with my coach, and once I started feeling better when I started making better choices, that I really realized, like, how dangerous it was back then. Because that doctor didn't even ask me anything. He didn't know. He didn't ask about my lifestyle. He didn't ask any questions. What he should have asked is, what were you eating? How often are you eating? What types of foods are you eating? How many sodas are you drinking a day? How much alcohol are you consuming a day? So for me, 3 pots of coffee, heavy starch, heavy fried foods, so anywhere from 2 to 4 sodas a day. Sometimes there are Diet Cokes, so you're getting the artificial, sweeteners, which that's for a whole nother day, whole nother topic. And then I would basically eat around 12:30 to 1:30, depending on the day. And then I would go all the way until I got home and eat. And so that's was either a 5 to 7 hour window without eating. And when I would come home, I would be ravenous. I would be starving. I couldn't focus. My head was pounding. I was on edge. I was yelling at my family because I couldn't concentrate. I already have ADD, which is just something that is, I guess, genetic or something that I've always struggled with. So you take that and you pair that with not being able to eat and not being able to focus, like, I was just off. And then when I would eat things like hamburger steak and gravy, bacon, packaged foods, high sodium, high carbs. We would have gravy and bacon or sausage or, ribeyes or something really fatty. And I would eat more than most men would eat in one sitting because I was starving. But then I still had cravings. And then typically after the kids went to bed, we would kill 6-pack or 12-pack. So I was living a very unhealthy lifestyle. So I think if I had a doctor who had asked me questions and educated me, like I hope that I do you, or at least get you to think and evaluate what your lifestyle is like and the choices that you make, maybe I could have, been saved a lot sooner. But those were the things that should have been asked. So I ask you to look at that, because what I want to share with you is, number one, food is fuel. Food is what gets you through the day. It's what fuels your body. If you're not eating enough, your body is going to react. It's going to fight back. It's going to hold on to any fat, any food, and it's going to store it, because they don't know, if your body doesn't know regularly when you're going to be fed, it automatically goes into starvation mode. So whatever you eat, your body's going to store. And if you're not eating healthy foods, it's storing crap. If you are eating tons of calories but eating foods that have no nutritional value, I'm talking about if you look on the side of a box that you buy, or anything in a box, automatically it's processed. Automatically you know that it has artificial ingredients. Google some of the artificial ingredients that are found in the foods that are in your cupboard right now. You'd be surprised at the non-food items that are considered food and being passed by FDA. These things are high in calories. They are addictive. They are, great to your palate because they're salty, because they're savory, but they have no nutritional value, and you get addicted to them. And you're consuming sometimes, over 1,000 calories a meal, but you're getting, very little to zero nutrients out of it. So your body is like screaming, like, help me. What you don't realize is that if you eat good foods, a 1,300 calorie diet that's healthy, it's nutritious, and it's balanced is going to do more for you than just counting 2,000 calories and staying in that 2,000 calorie range but not eating anything with nutrients. Because when you do that, you're going to suffer from cravings, you're going to suffer from bloating, energy, you're going to crash whenever you eat carbs. Most people are eating mostly carbs. They focus on protein a lot, not a lot of fruits, not a lot of veggies, and they think that all carbs are the enemy. Carbs are not the enemy. Bad carbs are the enemy. If you're not getting enough carbs, your body's going to naturally break down the muscle for fuel. So you don't want that, especially if you're trying to lose weight and get in shape, because the more muscle you have, the more fat you'll burn. So that's why it's important to make sure that you're not doing anything to inhibit muscle building and your muscle growth. That's why Atkins diet doesn't work. You need to eat regularly throughout the day so that your blood sugar stays stable. This is so important for people who are diabetic, who are pre-diabetic, or who don't want to ever end up in the pre-diabetic phase or diabetic. You need to eat regularly so your blood sugar stays stable. Shakeology is a great way for it to stay stable. The 21-day fix program that I have to offer is a great way for you to learn how to eat regularly. If you're not hungry, if you're not eating regularly, if your metabolism has been damaged, it does not mean that you can't reverse it. You can, but if you continue on for year after year after year, it can cause major damage to your body, to your adrenal glands. And so this is why I try to educate everybody, is that when you're eating healthy, even if you have to force yourself, when you're eating healthy and you're eating regularly and you're working out, your metabolism is going to increase. If you're not seeing weight loss and you are seeing weight gain and you're only eating once or twice a day and eating late at night or eating, not the healthy balanced diet, you're going to see this. And what most people don't understand is that I see it all the time on Facebook. People are sick, they're sick again, their kids are sick again, then they get sick again, and then there's work that's being lost and money that's missed because of that. It's just this huge, snowball effect, and it all comes down to your eating habits. Your immune system is primarily located in your gut. If you are not eating the right foods, if you're eating foods that clog up your intestines, that cause issues like with your digestive tract. There's people with IBS, acid reflux, leaky gut syndrome, all these different things. A lot of it has to do with your food. If you are eating all these things that are toxic to your body, you're slowly poisoning yourself. Your intestines are backing up. That means that your body is not able to process the nutrients. Even if you right now were to make the switch and eat completely a nutrient-rich diet, if you have a bunch of buildup in your body, you're basically like pouring gasoline in a car and having a hole in the gas tank. So anyways, I wanted to just kind of share that with you so you think about your eating habits, and so that take a look at the meal plans that I have in the file section of our group and start using them. Start making some adjustments and start taking note at how you wake up in the morning, how you feel, if you're feeling less headaches, if you are feeling more energetic, if you're not crashing or wanting to take a nap, if you're relying less on caffeine when you start making these changes. So I wanted to make sure that you were educated, because I was never educated, and people automatically turn to a doctor when they start to feel bad. There's so many people my age, 30s to 35, who are suffering from high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and pre-diabetic, and have diabetes, and they turn to the doctors because that's where we go to, because they're professionals. And what you don't realize is that these people aren't asking you what your diet's like. They're not asking you what your lifestyle is. They're just pushing pills on you. Because you know why? The doctors get a kickback from the pharmaceutical companies. They don't care about your health. They care about money. They don't care that you're going to still be living the same lifestyle and your health is slowly become worse and worse, and that the medication is just suppressing the symptoms. It's not really fixing you. So I'm wanting to educate as many people as I can, so that you understand the importance of diet, and that you reach out to the right people and you get on the right regimen so that you can live a healthier, more fulfilling life. And most of all, for me, it's so important as a parent is that we have the ability to change the future. We have an ability to influence our children on how to make the right decisions, not just morally or ethically, but when it comes to food. I don't want to see my children struggle. I don't want their health to be in jeopardy. Because I'm telling you now, at my age 35, if people in my age group are suffering from these food-related disease and illnesses, can you imagine what the next generation is? I already see it. There are children with diabetes who are obese, who have horrible eating habits, and it's just been a generational thing. So take charge now and make sure that if you're one of those parents that's struggling, that you use that as your motivation to fight past that struggle, to think outside the box, to get out of your comfort zone, to try something new, to do something that's hard, because your children are watching and they are forming their habits and their views on diet and exercise and healthy eating right now. And it doesn't mean that they're going to embrace healthy eating and be like, Mom, Dad, fix me a plate of spinach. But when they grow up, when they decide that their health is important, and when they, really realize that our life is not, we're not invincible, because I know as children we think we're invincible, then they're going to remember what they were taught, and they're going to accept it more openly and willingly if they're used to it, rather than something that's completely foreign and that they reject. So I hope that this has helped you, and if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be sharing more with our group and publicly about nutrition, because I really want to help everybody live a healthier, longer, more satisfying life, and to really help in the trend of obesity and help our children. So anyways, have a great rest of the day.